we're trying to make sure that we're getting value for the investments that we are providing. The SRGI is designed around three thematic areas. One is to achieve sustainability in revenue generation. Two is to identify new and enhanced enforcement of existing revenue streams. And three is to achieve cohesion within the revenue ecosystem, alignment between our people and our tools. We have also adopted some innovative approaches to financing infrastructure. One is the Road Infrastructure Tax Refurbishment Scheme, the RITC, which has been launched and designed to leverage private sector capital and expertise to construct, repair, and maintain critical roads in key economic corridors and investment clusters in Nigeria. This scheme is designed to enable private sector choose a road in Nigeria, mostly a road that has economic importance, use their resources to develop the road and recover their investment over time using the instrument of tax revenues. Second instrument is the sovereign sukuk bonds, in which the debt management office issues instruments that the investing public buys. So while it is a debt instrument, it is also an investment instrument, because we've seen today, after issuing 4 circles totaling about 612 billion, we've seen investors in these roads actually identifying with those that they have invested in. If you go across the country, across the 6 geopolitical zones, you will see signboards that says this road is constructed using sukuk. And it has become so popular that every time we issue a sukuk, the last one we issued was 340% oversubscribed. So it's an investment instrument, even though it's also a debt instrument. The third instrument is the Infrastructure Corporation of Nigeria, the INFRACO. I'm glad the CBN governor is here. I'm sure he'll talk about the INFRACO, designed with the capitalization of 1 trillion Naira. That is an equivalent of about $2.4 billion US. It's expected to also catalyze and accelerate investments in infrastructure. And the INFRACO is actively looking for investors that will partner with it for investment in infrastructure. The fourth is investment from the National Sovereign Investment Authority, the NSIA infrastructure projects, which have been established to catalyze growth of key sectors that support national importance. There is the PIDF that is also being implemented by the sovereign authority. So the future is bright. The recognition of the need for us to take uncomfortable and very difficult reforms to ensure Nigeria stays on the path of sustainable growth, the federal government is proposing to eradicate fuel subsidy by mid-2023, aggressively grow revenues using all fiscal tools available and at our disposal, continue to promote spending efficiency, create space for private sector participation as anticipated in the National Development Plan. It is our strong belief that the initiatives that are currently under implementation, as well as those that are proposed, signals the federal government's commitment to accelerating sustainable economic development that will be felt by all Nigerians. As we pursue this path, we welcome friends, partners, investors, both domestic and foreign, to partner with us on this journey and to reap the rewards of investing in Nigeria.
Having been informed of the great opportunities in Africa's largest economy, it was time to express readiness for partnerships.
Work to make more transactions and more financing available in sub-Saharan Africa. But I also come here with a commitment from the Biden administration to be very aggressive about the work that we are doing, especially on the heels of the global pandemic and several worldwide supply chain shocks that have affected all of our industries, ranging from healthcare to energy. But I want to be able to let you know that the U.S. Export Bank and America's exporters stand ready to be partners in Nigeria's economic growth. I have already, in a few short months, met with your Minister of Finance, met with the Bank of Industry, met with so many of you who are business owners, who are interested in partnering with our American companies. And so as the chair of Export-Import Bank, the first African-American, the first person of color, and only the second woman to be head of the bank. Our commitment to sub-Saharan Africa runs deep. I know so many of you work with our Ambassador Leonard in country, but we want to let you know, we are working very closely with our Department of State, very closely with our National Security and Economic Security team, because we firmly understand that economic security is national security and national security is economic security. So over the past 20 years, we have supported nearly $20 billion worth of projects on the continent. And today we have upwards of $2 billion right now in our pipeline. You know, my journey to XM, which began in February, we have had such a deep commitment on sub-Saharan Africa. I hosted my first minister, my first foreign leader was from the continent. So I've also formed an internal Africa working group that has never happened at XM before. And we're bringing in some leading experts on Africa to help us as we move forward on how we are investing in Africa. We have a new board chair of our subcommittee advisory, Jude Kearney, who's a former colleague of mine in the Clinton administration and someone who absolutely has a deep commitment to Africa. So he'll be joined with the mandated Africa committee that Flora will be sitting on. So our goal is not to drive investment for Africa, but rather to create new opportunities with Africa. All of these efforts are for us, building towards the Africa Leaders Summit that President Biden and Vice President Harris announced that will take place in Washington this September. And it also coincides with our own annual conference. So as we move down the road to the summit, I want and need your help to build the kind of collaborations and projects that both support American export jobs and the economic prosperity of Nigeria. You know, importantly, we have so many different programs that we can use at XM for investments, but we are trying to be as creative and innovative as we possibly can. And we are also wanting you to know that being here at this conference and being here at the UN, we know that it's almost like the major word here is how are we doing more on the energy security side? And that's why projects around renewables and energy efficiency and energy storage, our electric vehicles are very, very important for us. And we're working very closely with our counterparts at the Development Finance Corporation, the U.S. Trade Development Agency, the Millennial Challenge Corporation, the Department of Commerce, and the Department of State. So in closing, I want to let you know, not only does the Biden administration have a commitment, but I have a personal commitment. I have traveled to the continent in my previous role with the State Department. I have been into working with governors on the continent. I signed the first MOU with U.S. governors and Nigerian governors and have participated in numerous bilateral exchanges. So I'm not new to the work on Africa. I am not new to the work of working with Nigeria. What I am new to is a position that will allow me to have a deeper commitment to work with all of you as collaborators and partners as we move forward to make sure that we have shared prosperity, not just here in America, but also on the continent and in Nigeria in particular. Thank you very much for giving me a few minutes to be here.
Let me start by, Nigeria is therefore a priority country for the Corporate Council on Africa. And we appreciate that we have the opportunity to work with who want to increase health security, food security, build infrastructure that's needed. We invite you to meet with him, and he is always looking to serve the interests of the African Continental Free Trade Area, of which Nigeria is a part. And we believe in Nigeria, in the Nigerian people, and we believe that, as Secretary Blinken said in his virtual meeting with President Buhari, that there is an American commitment to Nigeria, and CCA will continue to play our part in supporting that relationship and building a stronger U.S.-Africa trade and investment business relationship, including with Nigeria. So thank you once again, and we look forward to an engaging discussion throughout today geared towards unlocking opportunities between the United States and Nigeria. Thank you so much.
High-level conversations on scaling up international partnership for Nigeria on the development drive also took center stage.
Almost every state in Nigeria has one form of mineral or another that is ready to be exploited.
The world has also accepted gas as a transition fuel. There's no alternative to it today, so they can bring the flexibility that is required. So that's what we are doing, to see how we can leverage on the enormous gas resources in our country, provide the flexibility that's required for energy transition. We're embarking on massive infrastructure project, which was also in Mr. President's speech, and to see how we can deliver the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipelines, which will pass through 11 countries, provide a number of securities, including bringing our people out of poverty, and also what opportunities that are there that we're doing also in the domestic market, bringing in more gas into domestic market. Some of you may be aware that today we're getting a grant to do baseline emission studies or carbon emission studies in our country by the United States government. And this is very helpful in the very sense that Mr. President also adds that we need to be supported. And that support is to come. And currently, the major source of financing that we're having is largely from the African Exim. And I'm happy to hear ADB CEO say that we can also be of help. But more than anything, also the US Exim will come on the table and we're engaging them. And ultimately, that creates opportunity for businesses here in the oil and gas sector in terms of financing for gas projects, and not just gas projects. It creates opportunities, gas-based industries. Chemicals will always be required as we continue to progress, and even agricultural chemicals will contribute even beyond 2050. So clearly, it's an opportunity time for everybody in the oil and gas industry. Our country has the largest gas reserve that you can find in Africa.
When you talk about diversification of Nigeria's economy, we still believe that diversification must start from the oil sector. Because gas is a very versatile product. You can convert gas to petrochemicals. And if you have petrochemicals, you can understand how many factories petrochemicals can enable. Gas also can be converted to fertilizer. Of course, if you produce fertilizer from gas, you know that is going to enable the growth of the agricultural sector. Gas can be converted to methanol, and of course that can enable the pharmaceutical industry and of course the chemical industry. Gas, of course, can be converted to power. So we believe that gas is still the way to go if you want to diversify the economy.
So Mr. President, when he came in 2015, he focused on agriculture, and that's exactly what we're doing, following in his direction. And agri today is the area that you can diversify to the economy, is contributing over 24% continuously, consistently, and we believe we can do a lot more than that. And part of it is also employing over 35% of the employment in the country. So agri is the place to go. Investors come to Nigeria. We have the land, we have the water, we have the air, we have different climatic conditions, different ecological zones where you can plant anything from semi-arid all the way down to rainforest. We have mapped the soil of Nigeria. We know the nutrient content. We can tell you what to plant, when and where, and how much fertilizer to use. So in essence, we are doing efficient agriculture.
At the end, deals worth millions of US dollars were signed with commitment for more.
And we are here to finance projects around biodiversity and carbon credits. This is the goal of Adriada. Adriada is a company that develops projects around biodiversity, and there is a huge possibility to develop this project in Nigeria. So as soon as possible, we'll be there to develop this project. I hope before the end of this year. We have a very good partner, Nobles Energy, to develop this kind of project.
The robustness and the effectiveness and efficiency of our sector under Buhari made it possible that we were elected a second time, many times into the council. Meaning that you cannot discuss civil aviation and take position without Nigeria being there. And we've been chairing many, many committees. I remember Captain Musa of NCA chaired many committees. Now Engineer Bentukur is there. Also, Ben is chairing so many committees. So we drew the world into Nigeria. This is what was not shown in the press. Because of what we are doing and the trust and belief in the Buhari aviation in Nigeria, the whole world came to Abuja for remotely piloted aircraft systems symposium. 170 countries came to Nigeria in Abuja in the Hilton at the time when they say that Nigeria is not secure. This is early enough in our government.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTA. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
A body has been found, possibly a child.
I think I have something.
I think it's the ritual murder.
Oh, that's the council this morning. What do we know about these so-called senior court members?
It appears their real strength lies in the members now in government, judiciary, business, and the police.
Now, this is getting interesting.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Preview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. And to watch NTA International in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, use the following satellite parameters.
It's barely a few weeks to the 2023 general elections, and the clock is ticking, bringing the nation closer to another history-making political process. And politicians and their political parties are slugging it out on the island of relevancy to ensure they win the election, to satisfy the yearnings of Nigerians on who will lead them and take decisions that will shape the economic and political future of the country. Now, this process is the single most important indicator of the presence of or absence of a democratic government, a process that should be free and fair. But do the political actors play fair? As their actions or inactions sometimes send the wrong signals to their followers who take matters into their hands with devastating ripple effect, leading to breakdown of law and order. Now, electoral violence is not new in Nigeria. It has been a recurring decimal since independence. And despite the rules of engagement as spelled out in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and the Electoral Act 2022, and the signing of the Peace Accord by presidential and party chairmen of political parties to abide by the rule of the game, the ugly trend persists. Now, it is on record that more than 52 cases of politically motivated intra- and inter-party violence has been recorded across 22 states since the official commencement of the campaign for the 2023 elections and counting. Now, what are the factors responsible for electoral violence? Who are the actors? How can the Electoral Act help in curbing this hydra-headed monster? How can the electorate be educated on this ever-present danger in order to protect lives and property? Well, this is the focus on Weekend File tonight with my guest, Habila Jushak, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations. And we have reports from zones to back the discussion. I am Jummai Yusuf. First the news. The federal government has taken delivery of more transformers and other power infrastructure to increase bulk electricity supply in Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi, Ogun and Lagos states. A statement by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, states that the transformers will be installed in substations in the benefiting states, thereby replacing obsolete power infrastructure and boost capacity of the substations. The projects are part of TCN Grid Expansion Plan funded by the World Bank. Still talking infrastructure, with the emerging industrial hub in Lekki Free Zone, when it becomes fully operational, it is the projection of the federal government that it enjoys the complement of supporting infrastructure such as good road. This is as construction work intensifies on the section 1 of Deep Seaport Access Road project at Electoral, ahead of the president's visit to the zone. Adini Taiwo reports that the project is another fruit yielded by the tax credit policy of the federal government.
For the federal government under the current administration, road infrastructure development is a major priority as seen in various interventions across the country. The priority becomes even more urgent when such infrastructure, such as this 26.7 kilometer Deep Seaport Access Road in Eleko axis of the Lekki-Epe Expressway, is seen as an enabler of industrial growth. Using the same tax credit policy intervention that has seen about 80% reconstruction of Apapa-Oshodi-Oworonshoki Expressway in mainland Lagos, this project, undertaken by Dangote Group, was awarded on August 4, 2021, while construction work began in July 2022.
Work ongoing presently has covered at least 10 kilometers on one side of the project, going from the fertilizer junction towards Eleko junction. We have anticipated the heavy axle load that will be prevalent within the axis.
The 3-lane dual carriageway sure anticipates the high volume and nature of traffic around the corridor, with the choice of rigid pavement that can guarantee durability.
And so we are looking at Lekki Free Zone that will not have the kind of traffic impact that Apapa is posing, which is becoming a menace to Lagos residents. We are anticipating massive influx of business people. So we are looking at that kind of economy, and transportation, especially road elements, will play a key role.
When fully delivered, the project will be the final piece in the 54.2 kilometer Epe to Shagamu Bini Expressway, an eastern corridor designed by the federal government to see to the evacuation of goods and services to other parts of the country. From Eleko along Lekki Epe Expressway, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
5 hospitals in Lagos State have benefited from the federal government's intervention in the health sector with the provision of relief support to victims of disaster in 2022. Ruth Ario Samuel reports that the Lagos Zonal Office of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, delivered the items aimed at providing quality health care services to victims.
In 2022, Nigeria was a victim of several cases of natural disasters and accidents, which led to loss of lives and property. 1,812 of these disasters were recorded in Lagos State, out of which 1,139 were fire incidences, 52 flood disasters, while 24 were cases of building collapse. To ameliorate the pains of the victims, the federal government approved the release of relief assistance, including food and non-food items. The delivery of these consumables to medical facilities in Lagos State is another phase of the intervention project aimed at mitigating the impact of the disasters on victims while checking outbreak of emerging diseases.
Because of their strategic locations and activities in the past, and still on. That's why some of them are selected. This is the first phase. Second phase, we still go ahead.
The Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Nigerian Air Force Hospital Ikeja, 68th Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, and Ifako Ijaye General Hospital are among the 5 hospitals to benefit from the project.
The Burns and Trauma Unit in Bagada General Hospital. So a lot of disaster patients, flooding, fire, air crash, etc. We admit them. So some of these items that have been donated are going to be very useful to us.
So far, the federal government has carried out relief assistance to over 9,000 victims in the state and still counting. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news as Nigerian Governors Forum has constituted a 6-member committee to be chaired by Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Soludo, with governors of Akwa Ibom, Borno, Jigawa, Ogun and Plateau State as members to engage the Central Bank of Nigeria in addressing anomalies in the country's monetary policies and financial system. This was after the forum received in-depth briefing from the Apex Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele on the Naira redesign in areas of peculiarities of states to financial inclusion, undeserved locations and withdrawal policy. The Nigerian Governors Forum says it does not oppose the redesigned currency notes, but will effectively collaborate with Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit on the recent advisory and guidelines on cash transactions, which were outside its legal remit and mandate. Meanwhile, the Borno State government has called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to create a special window for states confronted by security challenges in the new fiscal and financial policies, especially Borno, with banking services available in only 2 out of the 27 local governments. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum made the appeal when the delegation from the Apex Bank, led by the Director of Statistics, Dr. Mohammed Tumala, paid him a visit as part of its sensitization programs in the state. Mohammed Goni reports.
The Central Bank of Nigeria sent delegation to all the states to sensitize the public on the newly redesigned Naira note and ensure compliance by commercial banks. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, who described the redesigning of the Naira note and cashless policy as a welcome development, assured support of the state government to the delegation to enable it to succeed in its mission. He, however, noted the challenges associated with the time frame and availability of the new currencies. He added that only 2 out of the 27 local government areas have functional banks, while some communities that include Ran, headquarters of Kalabalge, are inaccessible owing to perennial flooding, compelling the residents to depend on border communities in Cameroon for their needs, and further regretted that such communities have since stopped accepting the old Naira notes.
That the need for the CBN to do justice to this matter, especially to those of us that are in the fragile region. But no, and indeed many states of the federation.
Governor Zulum lamented that the state government no longer opposed to give out the cash support to those communities affected by security challenges due to the new policy, and also observed that access to network services and digital facilities remain a challenge to the citizenry, adding that most people do not have digital knowledge on the usage of ATM and other related facilities. The governor further charged the delegation to be fair and just in its submission and reflect all the issues raised. CBN Director of Finance and Statistics, Dr. Mohamed Tumala, highlighted their mission to the state, saying they have taught commercial banks and ATMs to ensure compliance and visited marketplaces for on-the-spot assessment of the situation and level of awareness. The leader of the delegation, who noted compliance and awareness of the new policy, said agents will be sent to those hard-to-reach local government areas who will be mandated to collect the old notes and deliver same to CBN and take the new notes to the communities within the stipulated period. The delegation appealed to the state government to provide security to the assigned agents and other logistics to ensure success of the exercise. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
In another development, the Central Bank of Nigeria has warned commercial banks in Rivers State against holding the new Naira notes as the deadline of withdrawing the old notes gets closer. Robinson Dari today reports that the Apex Bank gave the warning during a monitoring exercise which exposed most banks in Port Harcourt that are not dispensing the new notes.
The Central Bank of Nigeria embarked on sensitization campaign to strategic areas in Port Harcourt to monitor the level of compliance by commercial banks as the 31st January date for the withdrawal of the old Naira notes draw nearer.
Will start to be Naira money on January 31, 2023, when they will begin coming from circulation.
To the amazement of the officials, most of the commercial banks in Port Harcourt are yet to comply with the directive of issuing the new Naira notes to customers either over the counter or via ATM machines. The bank officials could not explain the reason for this development, leaving customers with the concern that the old notes will soon become useless in their hands.
I came to pick just little money for so I can go to where I want to get to. And to my surprise, they are paying me old notes.
They said they should be giving us a new money. Up to now, I've never seen it.
I feel bad because I'm supposed to get new notes, but I get to old one, which is no good.
CBN officials disclosed that over 2 billion Naira new Naira notes were released to the banks in Rivers State a few days ago, and more would be released in days ahead, describing the hoarding of the new Naira notes as a sabotage.
Central Bank of Nigeria has warned seriously that there will be serious consequences for hoarding this money or for giving them to special customers.
There is no doubt that the banks are trying to frustrate what we're doing, and and what we've seen inside there, it shows that there is the new Naira is there in their vault, but they are not dispensing.
Markets were among places visited by the CBN to sensitize traders against mishandling of the new Naira notes. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Delatede, NTA News.
To some cheering news now, 2 out of the 6 abducted pupils of Al-Waza Primary School, Nasarawa State, have been rescued. The rescue was effected in Sabon Kwara village, Diankwe development area of Obi local government area of the state. In a statement by the police public relations officer, Nasarawa State Police Command, Rahman Nansel, rescue of the 2 pupils was made possible by the combined efforts of the police and other sister security agencies in the state. It further states that efforts are ongoing to rescue other pupils unhurt and arrest the perpetrators. The pupils have been taken to the hospital for medical examination and will subsequently be reunited with their families. We'll take a break now. When we return, more reports. Do stay.
Truth untold. We restored democracy. We initiated due process. We created the EFCC and ICPC. We brought Nigeria out of debt by achieving $18 billion worth of relief and $30 billion overall reduction. We revived the rail system. We upgraded agriculture. We brought in the mobile phone and digitalized Nigeria. Under the PDP, the Nigerian economy was the strongest in Africa. Though Nigerians made their choice, today we all know better. Nigerians, do not despair. Hope is in the horizon. We are putting in the work and refreshing our drive to rescue and rebuild Nigeria. Together, let's make it happen. PDP. Power to the people.
Good morning.
Good morning. Why is your sun shining like this?
Can't you see that Hamatan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather.
What about the invisible germs?
Invisible germs?
During Hamatan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with Germ Defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
It's an anthem for Nigeria. Oh, better days are coming. Better days that gives us hope and strength. Vitamins to keep this hope alive, bringing the smiles back to all Nigerians.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria. Renewed hope beckons on our people. The silver lining dots the skies. The firmament portends a bright future as the people of Nigeria move to vote a man whom they have come to trust for the realization of their aspirations for a better Nigeria. That man is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He has been tested. He can be trusted. Vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria 2023. Vote Kashim Shettima as Vice President. Vote APC. Surely with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the smiles are returning. We are close to home.
Bringing the smiles back to all Nigerians.
Oh. Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleanish.
Oh, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really? Yeah. The next house is yours.
The Mission for Education, Social and Health, MESH, a non-governmental organization of the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, is urging all Muslim Ummah to take advantage of the 8-day extension of the collection of permanent voters card, PVC, by the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, to collect their cards at their wards and local government councils nationwide. The mission is also calling on all Muslim Ummah to ensure they fully participate in the elections, as it is their right to vote and be voted for. Know that your full participation will immensely contribute to the success of electing patriotic leaders that will pilot the affairs of our great nation, Nigeria. Get your PVC, vote wisely, and ensure a peaceful general elections. This message is from the Mission for Education, Social and Health, MESH.
The chairman of the 50th anniversary celebrations of the Federal Government College, Malali Kaduna Old Student Association, Mr. Iwoje Imokwede, CON, specially invites alumni to the two-day event marking the golden anniversary of the school. The scheduled events are the 50th anniversary cocktail, date Friday 27th January 2023, time 6 p.m, venue Fountain Area, Transcorp Hilton, number 1 Aguin Rossi Street, Maitama, Abuja. The cocktail provides a platform to meet, greet and network with each other. And the 50th anniversary gala night, date Saturday 28th January 2023, venue International Conference Center, Gariki, Abuja, time 5 p.m. The event will be streamed live for virtual participation. For further inquiries, please contact the following. This event is strictly by invitation. Announcer, Steering Committee.
Thanks for joining us. The All Progressives Congress APC presidential candidate Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu meets electorates in Dutse, Jigawa state capital, and says this reception by Jigawa people clears any doubt for his victory in the forthcoming elections. Mohammed Musa Akskira reports that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was accompanied to the state by the national party leaders and key government officials.
The APC presidential contestant Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu expresses his appreciation for the warm reception, appeals to the party's supporters to validate the love shown to him at the rally on the election days come February 25th and March 11th, 2023.
After you vote for me, you vote for progress, you vote for development, you vote for agricultural business, you vote for constant electricity.
The vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan, the Speaker House of Representatives Femi Bajabiamila, other governors and party chieftains commend Governor Muhammadu Badru Abubakar and his deputy for their exemplary leadership.
You know what President Muhammad Buhari have done? I want to guarantee you, when we saw in Baba Asuwaju, he will take over from there and he will do more. What Jagaban is here for is to renew the hope of Jigawa. The same way he renewed the hope of Lagos many years ago.
This is an indication, a very clear testimony. Jigawa is in APC. Is in the right place here, and APC remains the party to beat in Jigawa.
The presidential candidate and his entourage were also at the palace of the Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sunusi, where the Emir praised for the victory of the party. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party PDP presidential campaign got to Mina, Niger State, with its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar promising to address the lingering challenges hindering the full operation of Barrow River Port to open up the state for full economic activities and job creation. Correspondent Onoto Yakubu was there.
With the pledge to foster national growth, unity and cohesion, revitalize health, commonwealth, education, as well as restructuring for political stability, the PDP presidential candidate and former vice president, alongside his running mate, Governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, told his supporters at the Mina Trade Fair Center that his rescue and recovery mission is targeted at returning the nation to its place of glory.
If you elect PDP, we're going to address insecurity in Niger State and ensure that Barrow Port works to create employment for all of you.
We need to get back the Nigeria of our dream, and the only answer is PDP.
PDP National Chairman Senator Iyorchia Ayu received the campaign to the PDP, led by former Deputy Governor of Niger State, Ahmed Musa Ibeto. Ayu also presented the party's flag to the state governorship candidate, Leman Kantigi. He then called on the people to elect PDP all round for good governance.
It is not enough to come for rallies. You must go back and tell everybody to come out on the 25th of February and vote for our brother Atiku Abubakar. Trust him. Let's vote for Kantigi. Let's vote for Atiku Abubakar. And Niger State will be good.
Other national and state members of the campaign enjoined supporters to come out in their numbers on election day to vote and ensure that their votes count, emphasizing that the mission to address the nation's challenges is people-driven. From Mina, Niger State, Onoto Yakubu, NTA News.
The National Executive Committee of the Zenith meeting of the Zenith Labour Party has ended in Abuja with a renewed commitment to embark on aggressive campaigns and town hall meeting ahead of the general elections. The meeting presided over by the party's national chairman and presidential candidate Dan Nwanyao, drew state chairmen and secretaries from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. NEC reiterated that the elections will be different from previous polls as a result of the various innovations introduced by the electoral umpire, INEC.
And we have mapped out new strategies. We have agreed to strengthen our town hall meetings, which will commence immediately, zone by zone. You know, some you split the zones into 3. And there is no, you're going to have less than thousands of people. So this is our strategy. I don't want to bring it out so that people don't steal it. And this election, it will count, and it will be counted. No more carrying ballot boxes, or it will not work anymore.
Arrangements have also been concluded for the unveiling of the Senate Labour Party's updated manifesto. Wife of Gombe State Governor Asma Uinua Yahya has flagged off the empowerment for women as part of campaign strategy for her husband's continuity. Abba Abubakar Yakubu reports that the empowerment was flagged off in Akko local government area.
Empowerment is a key discourse of promoting civic engagement, which is why the wife of the governor is empowering 2,000 women with cash donation of over 45 million naira in Akko local government area. Other 14,000 women are to receive wrappers and grains as part of the Inua administration's desire and commitment to create social impact in the communities. Accordingly, the women are expected to equally canvass for the governor's second tenure as payback for all the dividends of democracy they have enjoyed.
Goodwill, we've been making empowerment, we've been giving out empowerment to women, and now we decided to give empowerment.
We, the human Akko local government, we appreciate, and we are saying thank you, and we are promised the First Lady of the state. Our vote is for Inua Yahya 4+4, inshallah.
The governor's wife and entourage earlier paid homage on the emir to seek for his blessings in the program.
Presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sends best wishes to the Minister of State, Labour and Productivity, Festus Keyamo-San, on his 53rd birthday. Tinubu, while congratulating the minister, who is also the spokesperson for the Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council, noted that Keyamo's life is hallmarked by service to the country and his people. And let's take a backgrounder to our report. With the 2023 general elections drawing closer, stakeholders have expressed concern about the spate of insecurity across the country. In this background report, Timothy Yusuf takes a look at factors that instigate electoral violence and how such can be checked.
The seemingly disturbing security situation in Nigeria, many believe, has negatively affected the conduct of elections in recent years. There have been increased militarization of the voting environment due to violence often perpetrated by supporters of desperate politicians.
Why will you allow yourself to be used when their own children are in US or London or America or Japan? Let them bring their own children to perpetuate violence for them. Say no to violence.
Nigeria's situation may have become rife as elections approach. As INEC intensifies preparations, on the other hand, for this year's elections, experts observe the situation calls for concerns, and if not checked, could undermine the conduct of free and fair elections.
Beyond vote buying, there must also be decisive action against negative mobilization, incitement, and violence during the electioneering campaign.
It's now up to Nigerians to now look at what has been happening and see, can we continue with the way we are doing things? Hasn't time come for us to now step back and think?
While political players continue to perpetrate election violence, the proliferation of small and light weapons is considered a major threat to the polls, but government is already deploying various interventions to right off the wrong.
The President has further demonstrated Nigeria's commitment to the provisions of Article 24 of the ECOWAS Convention on Small Arms and Light Weapons, which requires each member state to establish national institutions to promote a multilateral approach to stamping out illicit arms trade in the sub-region.
Particular source of concern is the north and southeast, where the terrorists and unknown gunmen are very active.
We are losing life, shedding innocent blood. Properties have been destroyed. Houses have been destroyed. Government institutions have been destroyed. Security agents, policemen have been killed. So it's a very great concern to us. The Council of Elders have taken a decision that we have to have a peace summit.
The spate of violence in Nigeria may affect voter turnout in this year's general elections if there was no effort to check the trend. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Elections are the largest administrative undertakings in democratic society like Nigeria. But a situation where electoral violence becomes the order of the day, concerned individuals in Southeast say it will not only diminish trust in democratic process, but undermine civil and political rights. They condemned the attacks on INEC facilities and urged perpetrators to have a rethink in the interest of democracy. Comfort Anyim reports.
The clock is ticking and INEC is on preparations to conduct a free, fair, credible and peaceful elections. The signal, no doubt, has triggered tension and mixed preparations among political gladiators and supporters. Distribution of voter card is also another reminder that Nigeria is on the way to the polls in few weeks.
We found out some of the local government that have a quite number of PVCs. We deploy more staff and ad hoc staff in that area to help to issue out the PVCs to the rightful owner.
History is in possession of records where some people are concerned on instigation of violence before, during and after elections, and this is not peculiar to Nigeria. In recent times, however, the southeast, especially Imo State and Enugu, have recorded a series of attacks on INEC facility by hoodlums. A case in point is that of January 15, 2023 at INEC office in Enugu South local government area, where a policeman was gunned down, security house burned.
Some of the things we are going to use to conduct the election was not attacked. Because if accidentally the PVC got burned at that point, how many days to the election? How are we going to print the PVCs?
Election is part of the referendum. So all those people who are clamoring that there will be no election, they should rethink and find a way to support the government to do a very peaceful election.
Some local government of Enugu South that witnessed a horrific incident where people were killed during the local government elections of February 23, 2022.
Pockets of violence, pockets of intimidation will definitely affect the election adversely because it will discourage people from coming to vote.
Negative impact of electoral violence on elections was among topical issues that brought INEC and security chiefs in Enugu State together to brainstorm.
They are already actually prepared to move ahead. If there's no going back, by God's grace, we will succeed.
In Enugu, Comfort Anyim, NTA News.
Talk more on that. We're being joined in the studio by retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, Habila Josiak. He's a regular in NTA. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
We're having almost 24 years of uninterrupted democratic process in Nigeria. And every 4 years when we go for elections, this hydra-headed monster called electoral violence rears its ugly head. Now, what is the driving force behind this?
Yeah, this is very, very important. Elections are meant to, some of those that have the capacity, to administer and run a country, and ensuring that the citizens are brought in, and citizens also have a right of all that is required for them to exist. And so election is about democracy. And in Nigeria, this country is also trying to position itself among those nations that people to govern each of this sector of the society must be elected by the people that they will rule. And in doing that, there are a lot of gaps. And I think that we should be able to strive so hard to be able to ensure that the process is not interrupted by those who have made it clear that democracy won't be the solution here in this country. And so what we're saying now is that it is very, very important that we identify those of them that are always prepared to do a spoil in process of ensuring that people are elected into position of authority. Such people are also qualified, and such people have also prepared themselves. And that's the essence of election, and that is democratization. And so it's not out of place, and it is not only in this country, that some people would want a situation where this thing will be truncated so that they have a field day. And as it is, this country is ever ready. And therefore, those of them that would want to tamper with the process and ensuring that election is not done, I don't think they are not significantly very important, and their ability and their force cannot be matched with the rest of this country. And so I think the security agencies should be able to, like we said, in election, do a very good threat analysis, and this threat analysis in the various communities will bring out those elements of the citizen that whose duty it is to ensure that elections are not
free and fair.
Free and fair.
You mentioned gaps. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I talk about gaps because there's always certain individuals who have the ideas. Their ideas does not tally with the rest of the society, and there are also those who are spoilers who must always want this issue not run the way the country wants. And these are spoilers. And it is very, very easy to identify them because they live in the community. And if these people are in the community is aware of those of them that are always throwing up challenges during election. And a lot of them also will volunteer to the security agencies and the institution that is responsible for ensuring free, fair, and credible election. And I think what we should do and what we must have done now, or what those people responsible with this assignment, by this time, I'm sure they have a list of those of them. And such people should not be allowed to work freely during this period. They must be kept.
They must be kept where?
Somewhere out of circulation.
Out of circulation. I know political watchers say voter education, effective implementation of the Electoral Act, Section 97 will help, is key in curbing this menace. What's your take on that?
Yeah, that is true. But there's those of them who will always want to bring out challenges. There are those of them who have something under their sleeve that they would want this thing truncated. But I think these are a minority number. As a democratic country, we should be able to fish those ones out because they must be called to account for trying to truncate the process of election that would place this country, at a pedestal among the democratic nations. Yes.
Well, these actors you just mentioned would say that they say things, but they do not tell their followers to go and perpetrate violence, and they don't take the blame. So who are involved in this? Because the foot soldiers are usually the timid youths we have in this country.
Yeah, a lot of the youth you could see that they are very willing to ensure that the process ran uninterrupted, and yet there are those of them who know that they are not going to benefit from that, and then they live by proceed of crime. Those people are in the community. I can tell you that in policing this country, we've come to realize quite a number. It's very, very easy for the security agencies to collaborate with the various communities. And I can tell you that 90% of those of them that have the character and the zeal to interfere with this process would be identified. And when they are identified, they will call to account for it. And it is either they drop that or they face justice.
Indeed, we'll come to you on your experience on the field as DIG operations when we return after this break. But do stay, don't go away.
Our country want better. Our country want better. Who go do one for us? Mama talk for a better Nigeria. Good life in car. Now you we want to. Now you we need oh.
Yes, so people of Nigeria, they jolly for the better when one shell for we country so ready to vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria. Our people don't look the matter well. Say na only Bola Tinubu don't do what everybody fit see. Now him get the experience where he go fit use take make our country better, make life sweet for we and our pikin them. Bola Tinubu don't gather better plan to chase down war for we youth, better school, the security of lives and property, unity and peace for all we country people of Nigeria. But these and many other better things when in don't vocalize. It could make we all vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for president of Nigeria. Vote Kashif Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party where show broom. Now you
Nothing should divide us. Nothing can divide us. And absolutely nothing will divide us. In our togetherness lies our strength. Our diverse nature beautifies us. Yes, we may not agree socially, politically, and culturally. Not even our ideological, religious, or ethnic differences lead to bloodshed. Let us draw a leaf from the painful reality of our recent history and give dialogue and negotiation a chance. Let us support our gallant men and women of the armed forces, symbol of our national unity. One people we are, have been, and always will be. Nigeria is my country, your country, our country. Let us keep her together in peace and unity.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be patient? If you must worry, don't worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
My people, my name is Emeka. Mekus Kamat. Let me get all this people. I don't learn my lesson. Somebody come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when we get bust, then my eye open. I don't know that 419 be. Now when EFCC grab them, then they come grab me too. Now he make me they warn you. All of them when they do business like me, where they carry big money, when I go sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. Yeah. Make una shine in my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, what they call SCUMO, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual, no collect them. If he pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Can I go where? Bank. If you not do them like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen. Or they go suspend your license, or they go shut them down. Pata for your hand. No talk say I know 1 year.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Good morning. Good morning. Why is your sun shining like this? Can't you see that Hamatan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather. What about the invisible germs? Invisible germs? During Hamatan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with germ defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
You're welcome back. I still have my guest, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, Hadbila Josiak, but I will take a report now so that the conversation will continue. The clock is now ticking towards the election day, which is critical in Nigeria's history. And what is more important is the need for peaceful polls. In Kano, although violence is part of the political history, stakeholders believe politicians are key to achieving peaceful exercise. Aminu Umar reports.
About 16 political parties joined the governorship race in Kano, all jostling for one seat. This is what many believe brings about desperation and alleged insightful comments among the politicians. However, the intervention of some critical stakeholders is likely to yield some results, as regards refocusing the attention of politicians from politics of bitterness to issue-based campaign. This is evident in the politicians' interface among themselves during debates like the one organized by Aminu Kano, Center for Democratic Research, Mambaya House, among other platforms.
Even here you can see we laugh, we talk to ourselves as Buba candidates, and that is what we preach to our followers.
We don't abuse people. We always carry our activities with decorum. We don't cast aspersions on individuals.
The candidate of PRP is a peaceful candidate. And inshallah, we'll make sure that we continue with this trend up until the end of this election cycle.
The verbal commitment from politicians, although important, political analysts believe it must be matched with action.
Apologize for that break in the report. Now I'm back here in the studio. My guest, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Habila Jujak, is still seated. You've had a lot of experience in operations, across, different election periods in Nigeria before you retired. And you just heard in this report that they believe politicians are key to curbing electoral violence. From your experience on the field, is it that easy?
Yep, that statement will have to be justified, but I do agree with them that if campaigns and trying to sell oneself as a party that will be capable of taking the responsibility of running this country, then issue-based campaign should be the order of the day. But there are times where some of these things, the manifestos are not clearly brought out, and people decide to use insinuations and vulgar languages and hitting the system. And so, but as it is now, it's barely 5 weeks that going to the
presidential election
to cast our votes. And so we have very little time. And conversation must continue, and people must ensure that that they understand one another, and also the security agencies and the politicians and some others who are citizens of this country must come together to be able to agree that they will go out there to check the excesses of those of them that already haven't any item of a success, that would want to turn that into war, because it is the same community that will be very effective and very real right down there at the bottom of the society. They should be able to really fish out those that are spoilers. They are not ready to let the system be driven. And like I said, I think the politicians must close
the gaps,
yes, and work together and ensure that the security agencies are not overstretched. And while the security agencies must also work hard to ensure that for every plan that the politician would want to ensure that the system and the process is truncated, that they stop that.
And to achieve that, Nigerians are saying the capacity of the security agents should be boosted.
Yes, it is not about the number. It is the ability to collaborate. The Nigerian police is the lead agency, but as a lead agency, they should also bring in quite a number of the other agencies that are part of the of that arrangement. And the military are out there. They watch from a distance, and they can come in when they are called upon, when situations has gone to a level where there has to be forced to be used. And so we have a lot of layers of security, and if the coordination is fine, we've conducted some election. They may not be the best, but they presented a hope, and they tend to narrow the challenges. And I think for this election, that in the next five weeks to come, I hope that some of the challenges that have presented itself, the southeastern part of the country, the north central, and the northeast, I think that those analyses have been done, and that credible individuals and people who have the capacity, the police and other security agencies and the military, must have positioned themselves. Most of them that are used to, in crisis management must have been selected.
But some security operatives have been accused of being involved in issues like this.
Yeah, there will also be that. Some might be out of ignorance, some might be real, some because they are used. But that should not disturb anyone, because once this is identified, there are process of taking these ones out. And this one that compromises are of a significant number. And so they can be dealt with. But we cannot use that as an excuse to allow anything this time around to tamper with the process.
24 years of uninterrupted democracy is a good thing for Nigeria.
It is.
Thank you so much, Retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Abila Josiak, for coming to shed more light on electoral violence in Nigeria and the way forward. It's been a pleasure having you on Weekend 5.
Thank you for having me.
We take a break. When we return, sports and weather is up.
Good morning. Good morning. Why is your sun shining like this? Can't you see that Harmattan season is here? We need to protect our children from this dry weather. What about the invisible germs? Invisible germs? During Harmattan, it's not enough to only protect your skin. You also need protection from these invisible germs. To protect our families, we use Dettol.
Harmattan season brings a lot of germs, but Dettol with Germ Defense gives protection from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
A body has been found. Possibly a child.
I think I have something.
I think it's the ritual murder.
Oh, that's the cover for this morning. So what do we know about these so-called senior court members?
It appears their real strength lies in the members now in government, judiciary, business, and the police.
Now, this is getting interesting.
You're welcome back. Now let's delve into the world of sports.
Nigeria's boxing sensation Ridwan Scorpion Oyekola will on Sunday morning take to the ring against Thailand champion Manat Sopatip in Japan. The fight, which is an international super featherweight title challenge for the World Boxing Council belt, has been tagged the Okinawa Mayhem. Ridwan, who was the WBF International Super Featherweight champion, has decided 2 Japanese boxers last year to move closer to the WBC belt. The weigh-in for the 2 boxers show Ridwan Scorpion Oyekola weighed 58.6 kg, while Manat Supatip weighed 68.7 kg. The Nigerian Sports Federation has organized a 2-day World Schools Athletics Trials, which ended at the MKO Abiola International Stadium, Abeokuta. Over 1,300 students from 24 states across the country participated in the athletics trial to select Nigeria contingent for the 2023 World School Athletics Championship later in the year. The students competed in the under 12, 15 and 18 categories.
This is the right time to catch them. That is what they are doing. So I give kudos to them. Whatever they are doing now is the right thing.
To create platforms like this where our children have the opportunity to showcase their talent.
Some results in the English Premier League show Liverpool played goalless with Chelsea at Anfield, while Leicester City played a 2-2 draw at home to Brighton. In tennis, Novak Djokovic defied more hamstring troubles to beat Grigor Dimitrov in straight sets to reach the 4th round of the Australian Open. The 9-time champion required a medical timeout after he edged the opening set in a 7-6, 9-7, 6-3, 6-4 win over the Bulgarian 27th seed, while Andy Murray is out of the Australian Open after eventually losing to Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut in a valiant display where he struggled to move. Andy Murray was aiming to reach the 4th round at a major for the first time since 2017. The 35-year-old Scot, who had career-threatening hip surgery in 2019, was the last Briton to fall in the singles. What's update in Ojuadiku, NTA News.
A quick check on the weather prospect for Sunday is up.
Temperatures are gradually picking up across most parts of the country and may likely persist
for the next couple of days, and so slight thermal discomfort is likely to be felt. On to Sunday's weather, the northern and central parts of the country are expected to record good horizontal visibilities in slight dust haze. However, over the south, with the continuous moisture influx into the country, few clouds should be seen and sunshine intervals in hazy atmosphere across the inland areas of the south, while mist and fog patches are expected in the early hours of the morning over the coastal belt of the country, with slim chances of isolated thunderstorms to parts of Delta, Ogun, some parts of Lagos and Ondo states during the afternoon into evening period. The quality of air is expected to be unhealthy over the Federal Capital Territory, Lokoja, Makurdi, some parts of Obudu, Abakaliki and Oshogbo.
And that's Weekend File. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf. Don't forget to join NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. Good night.
Power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
My name is Biko. And I'm Mana. And together we are Biko's Mana.
What is up, everyone? My name is Ricky Smith, and I am the writer and producer of the Sesame Street Friends theme song.
Hey, it's time to play. We're glad you came because we love to share.
It's been so cool working with Biko and Mana on this project. They've been incredibly professional, and obviously they're so talented. We could not have found better people to sing this song.
Hey, it's time to play. We're glad you came because we love to share. We can laugh and sing, do brand new things with new friends everywhere. Come, let's have some fun with everyone because we love to learn together, making new friends forever. Sesame Street Friends.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Are you ready? Big bonus offer. Promotion with cool prizes. Many other bonus offers. Fast withdrawal and payout. Easy to use application. Support 24/7.